Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Gonna do this week's SEC preview today. So week 10 action, 9 weeks down, 4 or 5 weeks to go here to wrap up the regular season here for 2017 college football. So I'm going to go through these SEC games. Tomorrow I'll do the non-SEC games, same as I normally do every week. So all SEC today, every SEC game. Then tomorrow I will do everyone else in the top 25. That seems to be working out the best. Something like that. If I can figure out what I want to say here, I don't know. Yeah, people ask me all the time, Uncle Lou, do you write this stuff down ahead of time, or do you rehearse it, or have a script, or whatever? No. Every single video I've ever made has been shot in one take. I don't write anything down, with the exception of when I do these types of videos. I will write each game down. So, you know, I have UMass at Mississippi State, Florida at Mizzou, you know, so just so I know who's playing or whatever. And then when I do the polls or the rankings, I'll sit down before I make the video and write out my 10 teams. But everything else is off the top of my head, which is why I mess up a lot of times too. I think it was yesterday's video or whatever. I was talking about Alabama, but I called them Notre Dame a couple of times, or I may be getting those two teams wrong. But anyway, no, this is all done off the top of Uncle Lou's head. If I rehearsed it or practiced it or filmed it multiple times before I uploaded it, the videos would be a lot better. So yeah. Anyway, SEC today, rest of the top 25 tomorrow. That should work out great. We'll go in the order that the games are being played. So 4 noon games this week. Up first, UMass at Mississippi State. Mississippi State ranked, what are they ranked? 16. Mississippi State ranked 16. Mississippi State, kind of a weird team. Every game they've been involved in this year has been a blowout. All their wins are blowouts. Both their losses, blowouts to, of course, UJ and Auburn. They're favored by 28 against UMass, and they'll win and cover that 28. It just seems to be the pattern for Mississippi State. They did surprise me last week by whipping Texas A&M at Texas A&M. Mississippi State, sort of known as a home team who doesn't play that well on the road, which proved to be true against UJ and Auburn this year. I expected them to struggle a little bit at Texas A&M. I think I even picked Texas A&M to win that game in an upset. Of course, I was wrong. It happens from time to time. It's no big deal. Yep. But they're not going to struggle this week. They handle UMass without a problem. Mississippi State, not Tennessee. So they won't be struggling with something called UMass. Nick Fitzgerald will have a big game. Mississippi State blows them out, covers to 28 points. Up next, an interesting game this week that you did not think would be very interesting before the season started. Florida at Mizzou. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Missouri would be a 3-point favorite over Florida in this game, I would have wanted to know what you were smoking on. Unbelievable to me that Florida has sunk to the point where they're an underdog to arguably the worst team in the Power 5. Look, listen, Missouri, Tennessee, Baylor, Kansas, Rutgers, Oregon State. I mean, these are terrible, terrible. These are the worst of the worst here. And one of those worst of the worst is favored over the Florida Gators. I would not have believed that if you'd have told me that in the preseason. Of course, Georgia fired Jim McElwain last week with a beatdown in Jacksonville. Ran that man out of town. Don't listen to what anybody else tells you about any reasons or anything they try to make up. All these reasons Florida's coming up with about, you know, whatever they're making up about having cause to fire him and all that is just BS to get out of paying that man all the money that they owe him. Jim McElwain was fired for losing to Georgia, period. Listen, if Florida would have beat Georgia last weekend, Jim McElwain would still have a job. It's that simple. So don't tell me Georgia didn't get him fired. Of course Georgia got him fired. Anyway, unbelievable. Randy Shannon promoted to interim head coach. He's got some experience. Wasn't he the head coach at Miami for a few years while they were in the toilet? So he's used to being in charge of toilet bowl programs from the state of Florida. So this should be no big deal for Randy Shannon to go ahead and take this team up to Missouri. I can't pick Missouri to win this game. I mean, this is a hard one to pick. I mean, yeah, Florida could just cash it in. The players could just say, screw it, give up, quit trying. Of course, that's a possibility. It definitely would not shock me for Missouri to win this game, but I'm going to pick Florida to bounce back and win this game. I think it actually works in Florida's benefit that this game's on the road. Get them out of Gainesville. Get them away from all those reporters, you know, all the negativity that's surrounding Gainesville right now. Get them out of town. I know they have schoolwork and classes and stuff like that, but if they could have, Randy Shannon probably would have packed this team up on Tuesday and went ahead and taken them up to Missouri 5 days early just to get them out of there. But I think this works in Florida's favor that this is a road game, and I think Florida goes on the road at Missouri and gets the win. Listen, Florida's had a disappointing season. There's no way around it. Their offense has been abysmal. No way around that. I just refuse to believe that the talent on Missouri's roster is good enough to beat the talent on Florida's roster. I have a hard time believing that. I'll have to see it to believe it. For that reason, I'm taking Florida not only to cover. Missouri's favored by 3, so I'm picking Florida to win outright, not just to cover the 3. I think Florida wins this game on the road at Missouri outright. Auburn at Texas A&M. Auburn ranked 14th at Texas A&M. Auburn a 14-point favorite. Before last weekend, I thought this was going to be a good game. Texas A&M. You know, they have a boneheaded loss week 1 to UCLA where they're up by 100 points, but then give up 105 points in the fourth quarter and lose. You know, another one of their losses was pretty close to Alabama. And I thought they were going to handle Mississippi State at home, and they just never even showed up. Bad news for Sumlin. That was a game he needed to win. Even if Texas A&M beat Mississippi State at home last week, I probably still would have picked Auburn to win this game. It's a 15-point spread. I probably wouldn't have picked Auburn to cover, but I would have picked them to win. But with what I saw from Texas A&M last weekend, there's just no way I can pick them to beat Auburn in this game. I just can't do it. Auburn's without one of their running backs, Cameron Petway. You know, he gets the weekend flu every year this time when the Georgia game's coming up. Of course, they blame Cameron Petway for losing to UGA last year. Of course, Cameron Petway didn't play in the game last year against UGA. Barner will tell you that's why they lost. Well, you know, here we are 8-9 days away from the Georgia-Auburn game, and Petway injured again. Not making fun of injuries. I hate injuries. I hate it for him. He's a good running back. I don't think this will affect Auburn this week. Affect them next week, though. But we'll have plenty on that next week. But I think Auburn wins this game. 15 points. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't bet this game at the 15. I could see Auburn winning by 14. I could see Auburn winning by 24. It depends which Texas A&M team is going to show up. So I just wouldn't bet this game at all. But I definitely pick Auburn to win the game. All right, then we got a nothing burger here. Western Kentucky at Vandy. Vandy favored by 9.5. I think Vandy wins. I know Western Kentucky's not that good, but breaking news. Yeah, alternative facts too. Vandy not all that good either. 9.5 points is too much for me to give on Vandy, so I think Vandy wins the game, but I would not give the 9.5 points here. Just my opinion. That's it for the noon games. Of course, Georgia, South Carolina at 3:30. I talked about that yesterday. Look, South Carolina, you're just not beating Georgia. I don't want to trash talk you here. That did plenty of that yesterday. But you're not winning this game. Now, next year we have to go to Columbia to play you. Of course, we're losing Chubb and Michelle this year. We're losing at least half our starters on defense, maybe a receiver or two. Now, I don't expect us to fall off the cliff. We've had top 5 recruiting classes the last 2 years. Got another one coming in this year. But you never know how those kids are going to do till they get on the field. But, we have struggled in Columbia, but this game ain't in Columbia. It's in Athens. Even in our wins in Columbia, it seems like we've struggled. This game just won't be pretty for you this week, as I detailed for you yesterday. Yeah, 4 o'clock, Ole Miss at Kentucky. Kentucky is favored by 3.5. Why? I don't know. Kentucky fans still loud with the yip, yip, yip. Think they're winning the, East. Kentucky is a huge South Carolina fan this week. They want South Carolina to beat UGA, and they want Auburn to beat UGA, and they think they're going to beat UGA, and they think they're winning the East, and they think, they think all this stuff. Not happening. You're favored at home against Ole Miss by 3.5. Why? I don't know. Ole Miss is winning this game. Kentucky's not going to be able to score enough points to keep up with Ole Miss. Kentucky will score. They will run the ball on Ole Miss, I think. But I think this is going to be a track meet type game, and I don't think Kentucky can keep up. So I'm riding with Ole Miss in this one. But I would take the 3.5 points. If you're going to bet this game, I would take the 3.5. Don't bet the money line, even though I do think Ole Miss wins outright. If I was going to bet this game, I would take Ole Miss in the 3.5 points. Another 4 o'clock game, Coastal Carolina at Arkansas. Arkansas wins. Yes, Arkansas is terrible, but Coastal Carolina is more terribler. Bordering on the most terriblest. Arkansas favored by 23.5. They'll win by more than that. I know Arkansas is terrible, but give the 23.5. Arky blows them out. 7:30, Southern Miss at Tennessee. Tennessee favored by 6.5. That can't be right. Yep. Tennessee favored by 6.5. How does Butch Jones still have a job? I don't know. This is mind-boggling. Florida jumps the gun, gets out ahead of Tennessee on the coaching search. Tennessee's going to get stuck with a nobody. I can see it coming now. And the problem with that is, look, listen, it almost doesn't matter who Tennessee hires. Their fan base is so hung up on this idea of John Gruden, Peyton Manning, Chip Kelly, that anybody they hire that's not named one of those 3 names, the fans are going to be upset. And I can tell you right now, you're not getting any of those 3 people. None of those 3 people are coming to coach for Tennessee. Y'all are hung up on it. Why? I don't know. You might as well resign yourself to the fact that you're getting another mid-level coach. You're getting another Butch Jones, and you just have to hope that he's a little bit better than Butch Jones. That's all you can do. You're not getting Gruden, Kelly, Peyton Manning, T. Martin. You're not getting these people. Just forget it. Even if you get T. Martin, who cares? What's he done? I don't think you're getting him either. You're getting another mid-level coach. With that being said, why are you favored by 6.5 against Southern Miss? I don't know. But you know what? I have a feeling Tennessee pulls this one out. I think Tennessee wins this game. It's at home. Probably be at least 40,000 people at this game. Maybe even 45,000. I don't know. Look at this. Look, listen. If you've ever wanted to go to a Tennessee game, but for whatever reason couldn't afford it or whatever, look at this. They'll almost pay you to go to the game, won't it? There won't be anybody there. But, yeah, I think Tennessee wins, and I would give the 6.5. I think they win. I actually think they win this game pretty big. Let Tennessee have a good win this year, right? That game's at 7:30. And then, of course, the big game, the late game, the last game here, number 19, LSU at, what is Bama ranked here? Let me, let's see. Yeah. Number 19, LSU at number 2, Alabama. Alabama favored by 3 touchdowns here. What's the SEC West looking like these days? Hey, let's take here's the let's take a look. Here's the SEC West standings right now. Oh, you got Bama on top, Troy there at number 2 with their big win over LSU, and of course LSU beat Auburn. That puts Troy squarely in 2nd place in the West. So you got the 1st place team in the West here against the 3rd or 4th best team in the West in LSU. The game's at Alabama. LSU, same story as in previous years, I think. Not enough offense. Darius Geis, is that his name? Will he have over 100 yards? That's really the only interesting reason to watch this game, to be honest. There's no way LSU wins this game, I don't think. I just don't see it happening. I don't think it'll be close. Of course, you know, everyone knows what Alabama did to Leonard Fournette. And a lot of people are expecting the same type of thing to happen to Darius Geis here in this game. I'm not sure if he'll crack the 100. It's so hard to guess if a guy's going to get over 100 or not. I mean, you know, you can even look at the Georgia game, and yeah, Alabama fan, I'm going to talk about the last Alabama-Georgia game where you beat us. So, you know, here's your chance to say ha, ha, ha. You know, they pretty much shut Georgia's offense down, but Nick Chubb still had 130-something yards because he broke a big run about halfway through the fourth quarter there, like a 70-yard run or something like that. I think he only had 60 or 70 yards before that run for the whole game. That put him over 100. So anyway, I would never try to bet or guess whether a guy's going to have over or under 100 yards against Alabama. I mean, everyone knows the stats of running backs against Alabama. There's only been, I think, 5 running backs in the last 5 years that have gained over 100 yards on Alabama's defense. Most of them play for UGA, not LSU. So take that any way you want. But I just can't see the Corn Dogs rolling into Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama this weekend. I don't see it happening, and I don't think it'll be close. 21 points is a lot for this game. I would not bet the 21. If you're one of those types of people that just has to bet on a game if you're watching it, then I would take LSU in the 21 in this game. You know, maybe Bama, you know, maybe LSU scores a late touchdown. You know, maybe Bama's up by 27 or something, and LSU scores a late touchdown and wins by 20 or something. You know, that's a possibility. Personally, I'm not betting this game at all. Wouldn't bet it either. But yeah, the Bama Tards win without a problem. The Bubblegum Gumps. Yep. So they'll go ahead and have a little win over a ranked team. Finally, this will be Alabama's first win over a currently ranked team. Man, hard to believe. Week 10 and Alabama just now getting a win over a ranked team. Don't tell me about Florida State. That was a preseason ranking. Florida State obviously is not one of the best 25 teams in America. They're just not. They're terrible. Don't tell me it's because they lost their quarterback. Don't tell me Florida State really is the number 3 best team, except they just lost their quarterback. Now they can't win a game. Don't tell me that. UJ lost their starting quarterback week 1. Worked out great for us. It's called recruiting in depth. Maybe Florida State should try it. But look, listen. You're not a good team if losing one player causes you to not even make a bowl game, and that's what Florida State's looking at. So miss me with that. This will be the best team Alabama has played this year, LSU. So we'll see how they do. I expect Bama to win though. That's it though. Tomorrow I'll do the top 25. So regardless of what conference they're in, I'll do the rest of the top 25 teams tomorrow, previews and predictions. There are some other good games this week, Miami and Virginia Tech for one, and some others also. And 2, is Bedlam this weekend? Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. That might be a good one to go see who wins the Big 12. I'll let you know how those are going to work out tomorrow, though. You know Uncle Lou's money every time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a great day and a good morning, too. Beepity.